So a sequence is just a list of numbers in a specific order. So right here, this is a sequence that is increasing by 2. A term is each piece of the sequence, each number. So this is a term, 4 is a term, 6 is a term, 8 is a term. When we are doing sequences, we actually have 2 rules. One of this is the explicit rule and one is the recursive rule. The explicit, there is an actual formula for the explicit rule, but I'm not going to give it to you until probably either Friday or Monday. But basically the explicit rule, it gives you, you could find with that formula, you could find a specific number in the sequence. That's it. Any number in the sequence, the 10th number, the 100th number, the millionth number, you could find it with the explicit rule. The recursive rule, you need a little bit more information. You need to know what your first term in the sequence is, that basically your first number, and you need to know your previous number in that sequence. So if you want to find the 40th number, you need to know your 39th number plus how it's going increasing. This says a go-kart racing track charges $5 for a go-kart license, $2 for the lap. If you list the charges 1 lap, 2 laps, 3 laps, and so on in order, the list forms a sequence of numbers. So we have, this is my sequence of numbers, and the way they got 7 is by going 5 plus that 2. So the go-kart license plus the 1 lap around. So that's 7. Okay. And then increases. So just so you have it and understand, they got that 7 by doing 5 plus 2 gives you that 7. And then from here, as you're going another lap, so it's plus 2. So 7 plus 2 is 9. Plus another 2, 9 plus 2 is 11, and so on. So each time it is increasing by 2 because they're going one more lap around. So in each lap costs $2. On the next part, they're telling you that a total cost, aka the term, of riding a go-kart is different for different numbers of laps. So 1 lap, 2 laps, 3 laps. It's shown below. Complete the table. So 1 lap around, 2 laps around, 3. This should be 4, 5, and 6. So now we have 4 and 6. We know that for 3 laps, the answer is 11. And then we have 13. And to get to the next one, all you have to do is add 2 to 13 and you get 15. That means $15 for 5 laps plus the $5 license charge for the go-kart. For part B, they're asking you now to write it in a specific notation. So later on, we're gonna take away the parentheses just it takes longer, and we're gonna be writing as A's of 1, A's of 3, A's of 6, and so forth. Okay, the 1 and the 3 and the 6 are basically subscripts. Okay, they're like smaller numbers on the A. But basically, this is saying as A is a 1, which this is A is a 1. Let me label that for you guys. This is A is a 1, A is a 2, A is a 3, A is a 4, 5, and 6. They are saying when it's A is a 1, what's my answer? 7. So this becomes 7. When it's A's of 3, what's my answer? It's 11. When it's 6, it's 17. Now the next 2 are going backwards. So now they're telling you what the answer is, and you have to tell me what number in the sequence it was. So now they're saying 8, when it's 13, when the answer is 13, what's the number in the sequence? It's the 4th number. When the answer is 15, what's the number in the sequence? When it's 15, that means it's the 5th number in the sequence. The domain for this function would be your position, aka these right here, and your range would be your actual answers, your terms in the sequence. So our domain would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Your range in the sequence would be the actual numbers in the sequence, which would be 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, and 17. This problem says the number 125 is a term in a sequence defined by the explicit rule A's of n is equal to 3n plus 2. Which term in the sequence is 125? Justify your answer. Well, justifying your answer means be able to explain it and show your work to back it up. Okay, but I need you to understand what they're saying in the first sentence. This is what they're saying. They're saying you have numbers, a's of n, a's of 2, a whole bunch of numbers, a's of n. We need to figure out what that n is because we know that that number in the sequence is 125. That sequence might be going and going after 125, but we just want to know what number in the sequence is this the 4th number, the 10th number, the 100th number? What number in the sequence it is? We don't need to know the first number in the sequence, but I'm going to show you how to find it very easily. Since we want to find the first number of the sequence, all you're doing is plugging in 1 for n. So you're going 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2, that's 5. So that's how you find the first number, any number in the sequence, as long as you know what the previous number, okay? So what we're going to do is, we know that a's of n is 125. So we have a's of n is equal to 3n plus 2. We are going to substitute that a's of n right there, that 125. We know that a's of n is 125. The actual number in the sequence is 125. We are trying to find what position is it in the sequence. Is it the 10th or 4th or whatever number in the sequence? So like I said before, if you're still struggling with multiple step equation or 2-step equations, you need to start working on it and getting good because we'll be using a lot of substitution and working these out. So we're going to subtract to 2. We're going to add the opposite to both sides of 2. We're going to get 123 is equal to 3n. We're going to divide both sides by 3. And we're going to get 41 is equal to n. That means that 125 is the 41st number in the sequence. So 125 is the 41st term in the sequence. And that's your answer. You are justifying by showing us your work and backing up your results. So for this problem, they want us to find the the first 4 terms of the sequence. So first term, second term, third term, fourth term. And they tell us that this right here is our explicit rule. So that's the rule we'll be using. We will be substituting our values, that 1, 2, 3, and 4. These values will be substituted into that n and simplifying it to get our actual number in the sequence. So we're going to have 3 times 1 squared plus 1. This right here means 1 times 1 because squared means times itself. So now we have 3 times 1 plus 1. That gives you 4. So our first number in the sequence is 4. Our next number, we're going to substitute in 2. So 2 squared is 4. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13. So our second number in the sequence is 13. Now we're going to do the same thing for the next one. And we're going to get 3 times 9 plus 1. And this is 27. So that would be 28. And our last one would be 3 to the 4 squared plus 1. This would be 3 times 16 plus 1, which gives you 48 plus 1 is 49. Okay, that means, so to fill out our numbers on this side, it says make a table and substitute the values for 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then our first 4 terms in our sequence were 4, 13, 28, and 49.